One greetings from the high 10. 0 Day Shenanigans. Thanks for joining me. This is pertaining to Summer Wells. As most of you know who follow information pertaining to this child's case, um, she is to have a birthday on Friday, February 4th, 2022. Summer Wells is still missing out of Rogersville, Tennessee. I'm going to bring you information by Victoria, Virginia Advocate. If you need verification for the information, Summer was reported missing from the home in Beach Creek community of Hawkins County on June 15th. Candace reported 6 trespassers attempting to record video on her property December 9th. Now, this is all said information that was uploaded the 25th of this month and updated on the 27th. The Wells family will observe their missing daughter Summer's 6th birthday next week in private. Now, remind you, this was an article uploaded last week. Most likely at church, according to Summer's father, Donald Wells. Summer's 6th birthday is February 4th. She was reported missing from her home in the Beach Creek community of Hawkins County on the evening of June 15th. Donald told the Review Tuesday that there has already been an observance for Summer's birthday among friends in North Carolina, but it was held privately to avoid an onslaught of YouTube video producers and other media. I personally didn't go because I had to work, Donald said. I was so afraid that there was going to be a bunch of YouTubers there, so I didn't want to go, quote unquote. He said the birthday observers didn't mean as much without Summer being there. Neither one of us went, he said. Donald said he's not aware of any public observances on Summer's birthday. I would rather just celebrate it in church versus anywhere else in the church that she loves, Donald added. Running and laughing with a big smile, Donald shared with the Review a dream he had recently about Summer. I was like a drone or something. It was kind of odd. She was just running in some Johnson grass, and it was a beautiful summer day. She was running and laughing with a big smile on her face like she always does. I just kind of flew by her and was looking back, kind of looking down on her a little ways from a distance. I was like a drone or something. It was odd, but it was beautiful. That beautiful smile of hers, it brings tears to my eyes thinking about it. He said he has no idea what that dream meant, but he's had 3 dreams about Summer recently, and each of them were beautiful. But the dream of her running in the grass recalled happy times in their lives. Alcohol-fueled domestic complaint. The Hawkins County Sheriff's Office responded to an alcohol-fueled domestic complaint last week at the residence of Donald and Candace Wells. No charges were filed, and both were referred to the Clerk of Court's Office for Private Prosecution. HCSO Hunter Newton stated in his report that on January 19th at 12:27 a.m., he responded to the Wells residence on Ben Hill Road in the Beach Creek community after Candace, 39, called 911 claiming she'd been hit by Don, 57. Candace stated that Don grabbed her by the throat and pushed her against the wall. Candace stated she believed her thumb was broken. She also stated both she and Don had been drinking and she is afraid of Don. Don told Newton they had been arguing, but he didn't lay a hand on her, quote unquote. Don also stated that when he arrived home between 7 and 8 p.m., Candace had already been drinking, Newton stated in his report. While in the house, Candace spoke with Don without any fear. She also used her left hand to put on her shoes, and while in her mother's camper, used her left thumb to flick a cigarette. Newton stated that he didn't notice any marks on Candace's neck or swelling to her thumb, and Hawkins County EMA responded to the home, examined Candace, and determined her thumb wasn't broken. 3 sons belonging to Don and Candace were removed from the home by the Department of Children's Services shortly after Summer's disappearance. The reason the boys' removal wasn't reported publicly. Reward Fund Update. As of the latest report last week, the Summer Wells Report Fund total was $73,705.90. This total was from 2 large $25,000 and $10,000 donations, $35,000 at the beginning of the reward fund to open and start the reward fund. The remaining $38,705.90 is from the contributions that were made either directly to the bank and or mailed to the Church Hill Rescue Squad. The following are the 2 ways that donations can be made to the reward fund. Donations can be directly taken to any Civis Bank branch in Rogersville and Sneedville, Tennessee. And that is CIVIS if you need clarification for the spelling. Checks or certified checks can be mailed to the following address and will be directly deposited to the reward fund amount. Churchill Rescue Squad, P.O. Box 704, Churchill, Tennessee 37642. Summers, June 15, 2021, disappearance prompted 13 days of intense searching by more than 1,000 rescuers who covered 4.6 square miles surrounding her home, followed by months of intense investigation by the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and Federal Bureau of Investigation. Anyone with information about what happened to Summer Wells or her whereabouts is asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Victoria VA Advocate is the source for the said information. To recap what I read to you, Donald Wells basically says that he and his wife did not observe a private celebration for Summer Wells in North Carolina because he had to work. He would prefer to celebrate in church, where his daughter loved to said church. And it also goes on to recap information of an assault, an alleged assault by Mr. Wells upon Candace Bly a week or so ago. And that's basically it. And also that he had a dream pertaining to his daughter, Summer. He was as a drone described in the said dream. I will play the said audio if you need verification for the information. Victoria Advocate is the source. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. You want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the live. Amen. Thank you so much.
Celebration in North Carolina in private where I guess where you could be harassed. Yes, sir. And Rob is free to share that if she wants to. I mean, that's up to her because she's the one who got her off. I personally didn't go because I had to work, and I just was so afraid that there was going to be a bunch of YouTubers there or something. I don't know. I didn't want to go. So the daughters were there, and then she ain't there. It was just kind of conflicting my mind. But also being we didn't, neither one of us went. But I thought more of like if there might be like a prayer vigil or an observation schedule. Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know what. I mean, to me, I would just rather celebrate it in church versus, anywhere in the church that she loves. Kind of a private thing. Okay. She said Robin won't share any of that information, but I mean, but you're welcome to our Donald's family YouTube channel, anything that's on there or whatever, that's all about there for the public.
All right, everybody. That was Donald Wells speaking to a man. As I said, Friday is February 4th. This is Summer Wells' birthday. She would turn 6 years old. The information in the said audio and information in this article is very conflicting by Mr. Wells. I don't understand what was said in this commentary. First of all, to say that Robin can share the information pertaining to a celebration for the child makes no sense. Because if you're worried about YouTubers and the media and people showing up, then why share the information? That defeats the purpose of sharing the information, because 9 times out of 10, if you want to celebrate someone's life, birthday, whichsoever, then it will be public. That's the purpose of sharing. You can't share private information unless you're sharing it privately. So if Robin or whomever is to share it, then it would be public. Stay woke. The fact that if it was shared in North Carolina, the location, that makes no sense. Because then people still could show up if they had an open address, such as a park, a home, whatsoever. If it was shared, so I'm confused about this information. I don't really understand the purpose of the conversation. Excuse me. I don't understand the point of the conversation. Hey, come over here to North Carolina. We'll celebrate your child's birthday in private. Okay, but then if Robin had the information and shared it, then it wouldn't be private if she shared it. So I'm confused if that's what you're talking about, or you're talking about another celebration. Then you go on to say that you want to celebrate at church because she liked the church. Are you welcome at the church, Don Wells? Because we haven't heard of you attending church. We haven't heard from the church. We haven't heard from the pastor. He hasn't spoken in months. Church members haven't spoken in months pertaining to you coming to church, anything about Summer Wells. And I don't blame them for not speaking because they've already been harassed by certain people. So why would they even want to speak on anything pertaining to you, Candy, or Summer Wells? Because people have forgotten that the church is sacred. And you don't take shenanigans into the church, outside of the church, on church grounds. It is a sacred place. It is a place to give thanks, to show God that you're humble and grateful for him favoring you, waking you up. Not a place for foolishness. So if you did have a celebration at the church, people probably would come peeping and lurking with cell phone cameras and this and that. Come on now, stay woke. They couldn't film it for the church library because they've already taken down said commentary pertaining to Summer Wells in their videos because people were nosy parkers and all up in their dresser drawers. And I understand that because, once again, as I said, it is church. And it is a sacred place. No matter if Summer Wells went there or not, Summer Wells is missing or not. Church is separate. I think you know that from dealing with the government. Church and state are separate. So some of you need to remember that in talking about Summer Wells. The church is separate. And you don't loop the church into dirty business. And that's what has happened with this case. But Don's words are conflicting. Another conflict in the said audio and this article by the Advocate is that he says that he and she, I'm assuming he's talking about Miss Bly, that they did not go to North Carolina for the private celebration because he had to work. Now, Don, I'm kind of wondering about that because a investigator for some little group that's been on social media talking as of late said that he spoke to Mr. Tucker and that you no longer work for Mr. Tucker. So now I have to ask myself, when did you give this interview to the Advocate? Because this was updated to 27th. So 9 times out of 10, the original date is the 25th. So you talked to the Advocate between what? The 22nd and the 25th. They put it to print. So when did Mr. Tucker fire you? Because the Dirty Birds were on the ground about 3 weeks ago. And that would have been before the 25th. And that's when you were sent home. But that didn't mean that you were actually fired. You just were sent away from that location where the people showed up being busybodies. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much, Bees Knees. So we have an investigator with some online group from North Carolina stating that he talked to Mr. Tucker. Mr. Tucker is complying with FBI and that he fired you. So when did Mr. Tucker fire Don Wells? Because in this audio, you hear him saying he didn't show up to the North Carolina celebration for his child because he didn't want people lurking around, blah, 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 and he had to work. So is Mr. Tucker lying about firing Donald Wells? Because naturally, we don't get a timeline from Mr. Tucker when he fired him. You can assume that he was fired after that mess that transpired weeks ago with the dirty boots. What is the truth? Don's been working for this man a long time, I'm sure, and he knows of his improprieties as a male, as a human, but he kept them on anyway. He's had to have heard of all the dirty business pertaining to this man, YouTube, prior arrests, yet he still kept them on. Stay woke. So why would he get rid of him just because some dirty ass people came to Tennessee playing around on the job? Stay woke. He makes it known that he'd rather celebrate at the church. Once again, doing his grand manipulation of saying where some are like to go. Always throwing that out there about the church, the good people, the Christian people, where some are like to go. But Summer wasn't worthy of life, it seems, because she's no longer around us. We can't hear her. We can't see her. We can't hear her laugh, see her smile. So where is she? 7.5 months. Summer Wells is still missing from Rogersville, Tennessee. A lot has transpired with her parents. A lot of foolishness on social media, YouTube. It's all a big, ugly, dirty mess that shouldn't even be transpiring. We're talking about a child, and I keep telling people that some of you have gotten lost in the funk of this madness. We are talking about a human being. This is not a joke. And as a commenter said to me in my comment section on my community page, I shouldn't tell other creators not to meddle. Yeah, I can tell them. You all tell me what I can and can't say on my own damn channel, so I can say what I want to say. This is mine. I claim it. I'm an adult. I can speak my mind freely. You either like it or you don't. Who said that it was okay to meddle in the Wells business? Because see, some of you, as I said, don't seem to understand that this is a child missing. This isn't a game. This is not a game. This is a real whole person missing. So nobody has any right to be meddling in an investigation. It is an investigation. So see, that's what you don't seem to understand. The child is missing. Her brothers have been removed from the home by the state. No one is off the table as a suspect by FBI information released to the public November, December 2021. So when you are poking and prodding, banging on doors, mailboxes, standing outside, harassing people to church, going to job sites, asking questions, yes, you are meddling in an investigation. And some people don't view it that way. But as I've told people, if the shoe was on the other foot and it was you having people prodding in your business and banging on your door and talking to your neighbors and asking questions, showing up at your job, you would feel some type of way, which means you don't have any empathy. So why must the shoe be on the other foot? For you to understand common sense that these people are not investigators. They're just people with a social media platform. But that doesn't give you the right to stalk people and dox people and follow people around, take pictures of people's addresses, car tags, walking, lurking in the church, filming people in the church. It's all the same. It's disrespectful. Like it or you don't like it. But as I've told people, if it was you, you'd have a problem with it. Well, I ain't do anything. What me? Hey, I don't know nothing about what my sister got going on. My brother, cousin, mother, father. What me? I ain't do it. Okay, then understand. You shouldn't have to put the shoe on to understand. It's disrespectful. You see, what some of you don't seem to understand is that you act like Summer Wells is your child. She's not your child. You don't even know her. And you're butting in, whether you like it being said or not. You're butting in. You go into these people's house as if that's your child missing. They took your child. You think they got your child. Your child was last with them. They ain't telling you nothing. See, it'd be different if that was true. Summer Wells belonged to somebody else, and you go into the Wells house to say, hey, my child was last with you. Now she's nowhere to be found. Hell yeah, I could see you raising hell. Because that's your child. See, that's the difference of the story. Summer Wells belongs to the Wells at that time. So there's no reason for all this extra stuff That's what the FBI and TBI and Hawkins County Sheriff's Department is for. That's their job. Now, nothing wrong with wanting to ask people questions, inquire about information. Hey, do you know these people? You know anything about them? I've done it myself. But see, I'm different than most YouTubers. I know my lane. If the people don't want to comply, then I back off. They don't want to respond, I back off. They don't want to call back, text back, I back off. I don't keep calling. I don't keep messaging. I don't go make up stuff. It's knowing your lane. This is a sad situation pertaining to a child. This is a real human being missing. And this week, she would turn 6 years old on the 4th of February. And she is nowhere to be found. But as I said, this commentary was conflicting by Mr. Wells pertaining to the celebration in North Carolina, mentioning Robin's name as the person who would have the information to share. But like I said, if it's a private affair, then why would someone share it? 2, why have a private celebration in North Carolina when you can celebrate the child's birthday here in Tennessee? You live here. Why can't you celebrate her birthday here? You haven't really had any problems with anyone bothering you up there in Beach Creek community? Because if so, we would have heard about it. You just had this incident of these messy boots coming down 2 times. But other than that, I've heard of nobody else harassing these people on their property or at their job. So, Mr. Wells and Miss Bly, what's the truth about your employment? Because I'm curious now, because now we're getting conflicting information. You said you didn't go to the North Carolina event because you had to work. So what are you saying? The event took place during the week. They could have had it this past weekend. So I don't really know when they had it. You could have drove up. You don't work on the weekends, do you? But then that makes no sense, because how could you work on the weekends if you're fired? So what is the truth pertaining to this investigator bringing information that he talked to Mr. Tucker and you were fired? So which is it? When were you fired exactly versus when you did this interview with the advocate? See, that's where I have a problem. The time frame. And what is the actual truth pertaining to the date of this interview and if and when you were fired by Mr. Tucker? And Mr. Tucker, why did you keep him on this long with all the nasty things that he has said on social media pertaining to his family, essay allegations, cursing out different people? Why would you keep somebody like that on your job? Because you see, whether you agree with how a person lives or not is up for interpretation. He is a product of your company. So how he walks and talks is a representation of Tucker Industries, Tucker Inc., Tucker whomever. So anyway, what? Losing my train of thought looking at that chat. What's the truth? Are you still working for Mr. Tucker, Donald Wells? And the fact that you made a comment to the advocate that you and she could not go because you had to work. So one would have to ask themselves, a complaint went into the dispatch on the 19th of January. This article was uploaded the 25th and updated to 27th. So that's after the 19th. So are you and Candy still together on the same property, in the same house, and not Miss Bly living in the camper? So many questions. The dream. You were flying as a drone, looking down at your child, running and laughing. Summer months. She's running in the grass, Johnson grass. What does that mean? Is that a certain type of grass, Mr. Wells? I don't know. You can enlighten me. She seemed happy to you. So now we have to ask ourselves, is this dream the truth? You've had a few dreams as of late, good dreams pertaining to Summer Wells. So I'm going to ask you, did Summer Wells look at you while you were flying as a drone, Mr. Wells? Because in my dream, Summer Wells didn't look at me. So I want to know, did she look at you? And do I believe this dream you had of your daughter? This is a very sad case. 7.5 months in. Tomorrow will be the 1st of February. And there has been no viable leads to the disappearance of this child. No suspects arrested. Nothing. Very shameful. Because most of us don't believe that she was abducted. Some of you do believe that. That is your prerogative. But I do not. Because as I say, make it make sense. I will do another video on the 4th for Summer Wells' birthday. Rightfully so. And, okay, Melissa says it's a taller grass. Sadly, as I said, no new information. Basically, the articles recap everything that's happened since June 15th. And that's natural to recap old information because there are people who still do not know the child's disappearance. You know, Tennessee is just one state out of so many. People are not going to be abreast of everything that goes on in the great state of Tennessee, such as any other state. There are so many crimes in America. Who can keep up with every person missing and or murdered? You just can't. It's no way possible. You always see a crime new on a documentary news station because people are evil. There's no regard for life. And you can't even possibly keep up with all the old crimes, new crimes. But nonetheless, as I have said, that this is a child who is missing, and her case has been utter buffoonery and is sickening, such as Cal City. It's the same to me. People meddling in things that they think they have a right to, but really you don't. Because what you have to understand is Summer is not your child. And it's not to be disrespectful. It's to show you that you have to have boundaries. Because imagine every time somebody went missing, that random people just started running around, banging on people's doors, showing up at their job. It is stalking and it's harassment. Thank you all for joining me. No matter how you look at it, no matter if you want to make a claim to it, it's still not your place. You cannot involve yourself in a crime, an investigation. Doesn't matter that you're a YouTuber. YouTuber don't mean anything to most people. Most people, as I said, don't even watch YouTube. They don't care anything about YouTube. They don't care anything about social media, Facebook. And nobody cares that you're a YouTuber or this. What they're going to say is you're not law enforcement. So what's your point? So what? You want to talk about it on your channel. Who are you? And they have a right to say that because you're not law enforcement. This is a job for law enforcement to find out what happened to the child. That is their job. And people make it hard when they meddle into an investigation. And some people may not think that they're meddling. Well, I'm a YouTuber. I'm just trying to get information for my channel. I'm just trying to bring a story to light. But there's a difference between bringing a story to light and fabricating information, instigating in the storyline, and the participants that have involved themselves into the storyline. There's a fine line. And some of you don't know that line. You're not respectful because you've lost your way, such as the people in the storyline. If anyone has really paid attention to the storyline, most of the people in the story are lost souls. Most are misfits and lost. And that's to be expected in true crime. That it's not just about the victim. The victim could have been a lost soul, but the participants who immerse themselves in the case, they are lost. And then here comes a social media platform. They are just as lost as the people in the story. Point blank. And now you have nothing but chaos around a missing and or deceased person. And it shouldn't be like that. Because as I said, it's not your place. And I tell you, don't take it personal. And I said this because a commenter mentioned it. I can say what I want to say. I said it because I told the truth. I don't care if a person don't like what I'm saying. It's not your place to intervene in true crime. There's missing people everywhere, dead people everywhere. You just don't walk up and start banging on people's doors and going to people's jobs and bothering people, going to the church. You have to know your lane. You can't get mad if the people won't answer messenger because they don't know you. And they don't have to respond. Now, you're a news agent, as I said, or law enforcement, you have every right to ask. And all the people can do is say, yes, I'll speak to you. No, I will not. This is just a sad situation. Thank you, Moz, for joining me. Amazing. We talk about Summer Wells, the views at 172. Interesting. This is a dirty game. It is sad. It is month January, first of the year. We are about to go out of this month. And this child is still missing. And she went missing in the month of June of 2021, and now it is almost February. New month, second month of the year, and a child's birthday. And still, no Summer Wells. Very sad. I don't have the remedy for this case. I just think that somewhere down the road, it got out of control. And one thing I won't be is a part of the madness. Now, as I said, you are entitled to agree or disagree, unsubscribe, subscribe. Many of us unsubscribe. Maybe they didn't like the last live. You didn't like the last live because I put it down. I told the truth. That you can't cry about something that you're doing yourself. And that's the spoken word. Yes, life is passing us by. That's why you have to take advantage of living. Do all you can do while you have breath in you. You want to go somewhere, go. Spend your money, go. You want a new house? Get the house. Want a new car? Get the car. You can't take it with you. And whatever you leave behind, you're leaving behind something for somebody to argue over. Think about that. So put it in writing before you leave here. The car, the shoe, the purse, the dresser. Because you don't know how evil people will become in death. We'll say that too in this live. The death brings about a lot of dirty business. People could be getting along. All up until mama, daddy died, sister died. Now we're arguing over a shoe, a shiffer robe, a cherry cabinet, a dinette table. Come on, Queen, break it to them. They ain't ready for this. You see, because the eyeballs get big in death. Now, it's not same correlation with this because this is a child. She didn't have anything. But death is something to ponder on because eventually we all will have to face the ultimate. We're going to leave here. Life has not been promised to us. So we need to take advantage of the days that we are here. So my advice to any of you out here that's unhappy, miserable, suicidal, homicidal, turn it over. Give it to God because he's able. He's a way maker. Tell the devil, I can't work for you because you don't pay nothing. I'm trying to live. You see, Summer Wells wasn't afforded some of the opportunities that many children have. She had a short life. If I'm to believe that she's no longer living, let's just say she's no longer living. Let me be careful how I word this. Let's say Summer Wells is not living. Imagine getting to the age of 5, depending on people to take care of you, feed you, love you, nurture you, mentor you, so you can become a thriving adult, but you can't even make it past 5 years old. Basically, she was missing at 5.5 years old. How horrible is that? To only live 5.5 years. And we see that she did not have the best 5.5 years. And to her, they could be good 5.5, because I don't know Summer Wells. I can't say her thought process. But that's the thing about life, that what may not seem good to me, feasible to me, it's not the same for the person wearing the shoes. To them, it may be a good life. That's what you have to always remember about the situation pertaining to Summer Wells and her brothers, that is all they knew, the life they had up on the mount at 110. That is all they knew. So what we deem unacceptable, despicable, trifling, nasty, they may not have had a problem with it, because that's the point. What could they do about it? They are children. They didn't have a choice and didn't have options. And that's the sad part of life, is that sometimes you don't really realize how jacked up your life is till you go somewhere else. Come on, Queen, they ain't ready. Till you step out and you go somewhere else and you look at how somebody else is living. Come on. I think most of us have been there. You may not have had the best house, the best apartment, best upbringing, but then you went over here to Pookie, Ray Ray, Shamika, Betty Sue's house, and the house is pretty on the outside. It's pretty on the inside. It smells divine inside. The grass is sure enough greener over there. They got 2.5 cars, a dog, a cat, a goldfish, and it's clean inside. It's pretty furniture, pretty accessories. It smells so good, you can't wait to sit down. Hell, you might even be scared to sit down because of furniture. So pretty, so clean. And the people invite you. They're nice, they're humble. And they ask you, what can I get for you? You want a soda, a drink, a pop? You're hungry? What you need? And maybe you weren't getting that where you slumbered. Do you understand? You see, I've seen it before. When the people are civilized. And it's not saying that they're perfect, that they're not flawed. Hell, could even just be dirty human beings. But you don't see it because you don't know people's flaws and their dirty secrets. But they look good on the outside. And you're looking at them and you're like, man, they got a great life. Why not me? But see, that's what I think of with the Wells children. They probably saw a little bit of a good life when they went to church, looking at the church members. They dressed nice cars. Maybe they went to a birthday party or two, a function. And at some point, the children will look at themselves and say, wow, they've got a great life, great home. They dress nice. They look clean. They smell good. I think a lot of people have seen this in life, depending on how you were raised. And truthfully, it's a terrible way to be. It's to go somewhere else and see the grass is greener. So it appears. Have mercy. It is greener over there. This is why many people, when they become adults, they thrive harder, work harder to have good things because they didn't have much growing up. And you're entitled to that. It's in the scripture that you should desire things. It is your right as a human to desire more, have more, get more. Just don't become greedy. And don't covet what does not belong to you. But I think about this tonight when I looked at a picture of Summer Wells standing in the kitchen area, bare floor that did not look clean, head shaven down, her mouth appeared dirty. I believe she had on a tutu and no shoes. And I said to myself, how terrible she looked as a child. Why is her mouth dirty? Why she not have hair on her head? How is this appropriate? An appropriate appearance for a girl child? I would have a problem even if it was a boy. As I said, there's nothing wrong with wanting more. You have every right to desire more for yourself. And I'm sure at some point these children saw how other people lived. And they probably wanted more for themselves. But what could they do about it? They could not do anything about it because they're children. It's very sad. Pathetic. I really don't like using the word sad, which is overused. Pathetic comes to mind to the disappearance of Summer Wells and her brothers being placed in the state. The whole case is pathetic. The behavior of the parents is pathetic. The behavior of the outsiders close to them are pathetic. And the people who immersed themselves in the case, they're pathetic. They're all pathetic. They don't have a clue to what the fuck's going on, and they don't care. Just dived in with no direction and no forethought to the case itself. What would be more pathetic is if I look up and God gives me breath and it's spring and I'm still talking about the disappearance of Summer Wells. How horrible would that be? That she's gained a birthday, still not found, and still we are talking about reward money, suspects, motives. He said, she said, buffoonery from the parents, 911 calls to the dispatch. He said, she said, somebody hit me, somebody pushed me, but yet you're still together. More bullshit on the YT, and Summer Wells is still missing. How pathetic could that be? When I went on this case 2 weeks after the fact of the child being missing, I had no idea where the case was going to go. I just ran with the flow. But as time went by, month 1, 2, I already knew this ain't good. Because as Ms. Earhart said, that works for the TBI, usually within a few days, we have information to the whereabouts of a child, suspects in the disappearance of a child. And yet they've given us no information, law enforcement, pertaining to the disappearance of Summer, which is baffling at this point. Because you're talking about almost, 8 months. Why is that? Why can't they tell us something? Because this is a long run to have nothing. No cars, no identifying persons, no cameras, footage of anything. If they do have it, they're not divulging the information. Very sickening. Where is Summer Wells? And God, why must we be still talking about her? The week of her birthday, her 6th birthday. It's very sickening. Somewhere in this universe, someone, plural, knows what happened to Summer, and they have yet to tell the truth. But all I can say is have mercy on your soul, because you know what happened to her, and you're holding that dirty secret. But what I say to you, and I'll say it to you directly, how long can you hold the secret to what happened to Summer Wells? Because at some point, you're going to tell it, because most criminals do. Because most people can't hold water. And if I'm to believe that Mr. Wells is behind the disappearance of his child alongside the mother and or grandmother, it will be told. Because somebody is going to turn on the other one if more than one person is involved. Everybody knows this. It's common sense. It's a game of checkers. Somebody's got to tell it. And if somebody's back is against the wall, he or she will surely tell it. Thank you, Kimberly. See, that's the gist of the story. Is that nobody has been held down. And I believe that if one or two are held down long enough, that one of them will fold. They will tell it. And I think that's what needs to happen here. So somebody is held down, and that somebody will get leery and petrified of what the others are doing out of their sight, and they will get jittery, and they may start to quack quack. Because you see, that is what happened with the case of Camille McKinney. The female got locked up, no bond. She realized she wasn't coming out of there, so she talked. She told where they could find the child. And I believe that's what needs to happen here, is that one needs to be remanded to a jail cell, and he or she will fold on the other one. February 4th, Friday, this week, Summerwell's 6th birthday. But sadly, she is nowhere to be found to celebrate that day. You're welcome, dear. Where is Summer Wells? Will we ever get to the bottom of what happened to her? Or will we linger on month for month, waiting for the shoe to drop? Somebody fold, turn on the other one. Or will this be an endearing, long-winded tale of a 5-year-old missing out of Rogersville, Tennessee, out of sight, out of mind, and just nonstop gossip and people jumping in and out of clown cars to be seen for 5 minutes of imaginary fame? In the end, none of you got nothing. Because if all you can do is jump here for 5 minutes of fame on a YT, you in bad shape. Because this is not primetime TV. It is not. Thank you, mods on deck. I won't keep you long. I brought you the set information pertaining to Donald Wells speaking to someone about celebrating the child's birthday this week in private. A group had it. North Carolina, allegedly, he and Candace did not attend for the fear of YouTubers showing up. He mentions Robin sharing the information, perhaps. But as I said, it makes no sense. It's contradictory. Because why share something knowing it would be public? You can't share something and it not go public. That's the whole point of it, called sharing. And I don't see the point in going to North Carolina to share your child's birthday. You can share your child's birthday anywhere. You can go to a lake, a pond, Chuck E. Cheese. The only way somebody's going to know is if you tell it. And Don likes attention. So, as I said, his commentary is conflicting. He likes to be seen. He likes to be heard. And he gets a joke out of being seen and heard. So to say, I don't want no YouTubers following me to North Carolina is a joke. You've been doing everything for the attention of YouTubers and commenters. So that's a lie. You like the attention, Donald Wells. And as somebody said, what in the hell made you think going to YouTube would help your solution to finding your child? Going to Facebook will help you find your child. It's been the death of you, damn near. You've gotten cahoots with strangers who are also diabolical. They have a like mind because they think and act like you and Candace. That's why they gravitated towards you, because they are just like you. And then you turned on them. They turned on you, which is soever. Now you all have a problem with one another. Flip-flop. Because that's why a lot of people fall out. That's an old saying. Too much alike. That's why they don't get along. Amen. They don't get along because they're just alike. Haven't you ever heard of that? Old people, old black folks saying they're too much alike. That's why they can't get along. That's why you and the YouTubers fell out. Is that not correct, Donald? You all are cut from the same cloth. You are similar in nature. That's why you can't get along. I needed you for something, which was a story from a channel. You fed me what I wanted. And then I started seeing signs. Oops, he might be guilty. Then here comes the release of the said information. And then you turn on them by calling them everything but the child of God. But see, the gist of the story is that you all are the same. That's why you gravitated toward one another. Very sick. The social media bull. It's very sick, very ill. All of this is sickening to me. I had time to reflect this weekend on my birthday, and I enjoyed the little short time away, not focusing on anything where I lived, people I knew of, YouTube stories, commentary. I enjoyed every bit of it because I realized no matter what, there will always be another story. There will always be crime. There will always be a problem in the world. Whether I talk about it or not, whether it's talked about on social media or not, the news, there will always be a problem in the world. And I realized that you can't fight every battle because it's not your own. And I enjoyed my little space, not talking about Summer Wells or any true crime, any mishap in the world. It was enjoyable. Not even trying to check the queue to see who said what, who uploaded a video. Because it's not my fight. Because in the end, I don't know Summer Wells and I don't know her parents. And I do not know what happened June 15th. And it's not my place to poke and prod. I can talk about these people all day, but in the end, I don't know what happened to her. And I don't want to be a part of the problem. And as they say, you should want to be a part of the solution, not the problem. Very sick. You're not talking about nothing. In the end, you're entitled to your opinion. And the hate is real, as you can see. People who don't have anything to focus on. Best you go read your book, honey. There's no answers to this case because we don't have all the information. I'm praying that one day a law enforcement will tell us something. And perhaps they know how Summer got gone. Perhaps they know. Yes, it is to turn it off, indeed. Some people need to turn it off. Some people haven't learned that. You have to turn it off because you'll make yourself sick at the stomach listening to, depressing news all day, every day. It's not healthy. to engage in foolishness, chaos, and mayhem. And this is all those things in this story, because there's a lot of foolishness in this story. And I took a break from it, and I enjoyed every minute of it. And frankly, this story didn't have to be the story that it is. The parents helped the story get to its point. Now, naturally, you can't stop outsiders from inquiring, trying to reach out to the parents and the people that start talking. But see, that's the thing about a story, is that you don't know how it's going to unfold. You don't know who's going to start talking, who's going to tell what is the truth of what they're saying. You don't know. And that's how the buffoonery starts, is the people start coming out, jumping out of clown cars, telling stuff. You don't know what's the truth, to believe it or not believe it. You don't have an idea. And so the parents didn't help with all their foolishness over the past several months. Other people wanting to interview and talk to people in the story, and the parents, other people jumping out, having something to say, and that's all it took. That's all it took. And then people start commenting on what they said, what they didn't say, what they did, what they didn't do. And before you know it, now you got a full-fledged merry-go-round. Carnival/circus. All off the backs of a baby missing. It's very sad. I want to check out of here. But that's my sad commentary. Since Summer Wells is still missing. Her birthday is on Friday, February 4th. She turned 6 years old. And there have been no sightings of the child, information to her whereabouts, no arrest of any suspects, any more updated information pertaining to her disappearance. And as I said, on the weekend I had time to reflect and think about this case, just like other cases of true crime. And I realized that there's more going on in the world. And it's not to diminish what has happened to Summer Wells, but it's the truth. There's more things going on in the world besides Hollerville and its inhabitants and the disappearance of Summer. There are more people missing, more children missing, more people murdered, hurt, harmed, assaulted. And that's just a spoken word. And I can't continue to dwell on one case, whether it's in my state or not. Thank you, hon. There are other things to discuss and other things to talk about, such as the case I brought you earlier out of Texas. 2 brothers and a friend killed the stepfather who allegedly was sexually assaulting their half-sister. They're now facing capital murder in the state of Texas. Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Another case of children who took the life of a man who has been accused of molesting children. He also has a warrant out at the time, for sexually assaulting another child. But yet he was free, no arrests. And they killed him. The brothers and their friend killed a 42-year-old Hispanic male. The boys are Hispanic, if you need to know. Where was the mother? I do not know. But it's sad that now 3 lives of children, basically 1 child and 2 adults, are now facing capital murder in the state of Texas for killing an alleged child molester. As I said on my community page, was this justice or deliberate homicide? Vigilante justice, justifiable homicide. Some believe in vigilante justice, some do not. But as they said, if we all started killing people who did something to us, said something to us out of the way, hurt us, harmed us, there would be nobody standing. Because then people would just say, well, it doesn't matter. I did it because I could, because that is the reason why most people murder people anyway. It's because they can. They don't need a reason. And that's the thing about this case. We don't know all the ins and outs of how the child got gone, if she's actually alive or deceased. Some of us do believe that she's no longer alive. But so far, we don't know anything. Only law officials know what is the gist of the story pertaining to Summer Wells. But with the behavior of the parents and their commentary, one could say possibly she's not alive. And everybody's entitled to his or her opinion. But this is a very sick story. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for the compliments. But there are other cases out there of child neglect, abuse, murder, mayhem, foolishness. And those stories deserve attention as well. This week, I'll bring you a case from the crime vault of a true crime case that's already been exacted and had a ending. And that will be later this week, possibly tomorrow. Summer Wells, missing from Rogersville, Tennessee, 7.5 months. February 4th, Friday, she would turn 6 years old, but she is still missing. You have any information pertaining to the whereabouts of Summer Wells? Please contact TBI and Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. And if you want to donate any money for a reward fund, please contact the local Civis Bank, CIVIS, or the Churchill Rescue Squad. They do take checks to that organization and the Civis Bank if you want to donate to the reward fund. Mr. Wells says he preferred to observe the child's birthday in church, where she liked to be. He also gave commentary of a dream he had as a drone flying over the child. She was running through the grass, happy. She appeared happy. And as I said in my commentary, I don't know to believe it or not, because I can't really believe anything that comes out of the mouth of Donald Wells. And it appears that he and the wife are back on and still living on the same property. We got commentary from an alleged PI out of North Carolina that he was fired by Mr. Tucker. But then in this article I read you, he states he couldn't go to the North Carolina celebration of her birthday because he had to work. I think he said we had to work. So I'm assuming he was looping Candace Bly into the work flow, work partner. So what is the truth to that? Does Donald Wells still have a job with this Tucker Inc.? Or did Mr. Tucker lie to this said investigator, PI person, to get him off his back? He also said he was working with TBI, and I made a live about that the other day. How long had Mr. Tucker been working with TBI? And why did he keep him on this long, knowing his past by now and his behavior with social media pertaining to the child? Somebody at some point had to tell Mr. Tucker of Mr. Wells' behavior. Thank you, True. Very sad situation. Yes, he probably is still working. And I think with the mess that took place weeks ago, they just sent him home, but they did not fire Mr. Wells. And the fact that he tells this Advocate newspaper that he didn't go to the celebration for summer in North Carolina because he had to work, this commentary is coming out around the 25th of this month. The incident of them going to the job was weeks ago, way before the 25th. So 9 times out of 10, he still works for Mr. Tucker, and Mr. Tucker possibly lied. See, this is why I keep saying to you all, you can't believe anything pertaining to this story. You can't believe the Wells You can't believe the associates of the Wells. You can't believe the neighbors. You can't believe anybody. Because in the end, nobody's really brought a receipt to anything that they've said pertaining to the disappearance of Summer Wells, the behavior of the Wells. We've seen how they act on their own without a receipt from outsiders. So there could be some correlation that some things said, such as things Boy H said, are true about Candace and also Mr. Wells. They do not appear to be endearing, caring parents. They don't seem to be caring adults of their own selves. And this is behavior of them before Summer Wells went missing and before the children were taken out of the state's care. And that's what people need to understand about this story. This is the behavior of two people before Summer went missing and before the state took their children. Have mercy on their kids, because I can only imagine what they saw living in their household. It's very sad. And this is all the children knew, because naturally they've lived with their parents since birth. And this is all they knew. And perhaps they liked it. Perhaps they didn't. We won't know. But I pray that they have a better life where they are and that they are happy and that they're getting everything that they need and desire. I really do hope that. That's the thing about life. You don't choose your parents. You don't choose your parents. And it's not your fault how your parents or guardians or whoever takes care of you behave. That's on them. And you don't have to act like them. You don't have to talk like them. You don't have to walk like them. You can make a sound choice to be different. And some things you're just going to inherit innately. You just are. Things you loathe about your family, you probably will end up doing later in life. Your mother or daddy was OCD. You'll probably get those same ways because it's in your DNA. It's not your fault. But you don't have to behave horrendously like them. So I'm going to pray for the boy children, that they have a fruitful life, productive and prosperous life, and they get everything that they need because they are so deserving of that. They were cheated that the first years of their life, but they can make a better life if they are reared properly and treated with respect and dignity. They can have a good life. If you want to donate to the channel, $Big Angie 129 Cash App. The description is inside of this video. All super chats are welcome during the live. I thank you all so much for joining me. Prayers for Summer Wells and her brothers. Friday marks 6 years of a life that we no longer have any information to. That's the sad part of the story. Is that there's no new information pertaining to Summer Wells. And I don't even know if she's alive to even celebrate this Friday, 6 years of life. If you need to go back to recap the video for the said information, there's a source inside of the information that I play. Mr. Wells speaking of a dream he had about his child, and also information pertaining to the celebration of her birthday and all the things that have transpired as of late pertaining to the assault, alleged assault against Miss Bly by Mr. Wells. As you know, Mr. Wells has denied all of those allegations, and it will go to private court mediation or whatever for them to rectify the said situation. Thank you all for joining me. Have a great week. Thank you for the birthday wishes. And once again, prayers for Crystal Moore, my mod. Son was in an accident. Kinsley Masters, father-in-law passed away. And Rag's father passed away. So prayers for my 3 mods. And prayers for all of you who have a lot on your plate and have a lot of things going on. Because that's one thing a lot of people don't seem to understand. Thank you, TZ. Is that a lot of people have problems themselves and a lot of foolishness going on in their lives. chaos. You just don't know about it. Because as I said, it's not for you to know. Just like this case. It's a lot of things that's going on. It's really none of our business. Some of us have just made it our business. But the one thing I do believe is sometimes you have to know when to step out and stay in your lane. And this is an open investigation. And it's not going to get better if people keep prodding and meddling into things and interrupting law enforcement's job to solve this case. Because I'm sure their backs are very heavy with whatever they're trying to do, and them having to do extra work that's unnecessary, that's not fair to them, and most definitely not fair to Summer. It's not fair to her at all, because in the end, she is the one that's missing. Not YouTube, not the commenters, not the YouTubers. Summer. She's missing, and the story needs to be about her. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans.